Welcome to Shore Support, a program that highlights organizations who enhance the lives of our community through charitable efforts. I'm your host, Nathan Magno, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the gift of giving for the holidays. Today, we'll be joined by two organizations dedicated to spreading cheers and blessings to those who may be less fortunate during the holiday season. Joining us now is Bruce Jones, founder and CEO of Jenny's Toys. Thank you so much for joining us, Bruce.
Thanks for having me.
So what is the overall mission of Jenny's Toys and your inspiration behind it?
Sure, great question. I'll start with the second part. The inspiration behind it's my sister. My sister, Jennifer Jones, passed away in 1991 when I was 3 years old. She was 19, I was 3, so my memories are faint, but, the people around me, my parents, family, and friends have always talked about her my whole life. It's been a big impact. Her passing has been a big impact in my life. She was a wonderful person. From the time she was young, she knew she wanted to be a special education teacher. She wanted to give back. She always liked to help those in need. So she's the inspiration.
Right.
The mission behind it's helping out families in the state of New Jersey and our local communities during the holiday season and beyond. Holiday season's mostly toys, clothes, but all throughout the year we help out with medical needs, housing needs, food needs, if we can and we are able to. So that's the mission. We're helping people who need a little extra help.
Right. To extend that helping hand out to the community.
Absolutely.
And what started as a small operation has grown significantly over the years.
Sure.
How has Jenny's Toys expanded from your first holiday season back in 2012?
A lot. It's expanded a lot. So 2012, I'm sitting in my parents' living room. It's after Superstorm Sandy hits. I'm out of work for a little bit because I was in Atlantic City working, and my Wyndham Hotel was closed. So I'm sitting with my father in the living room having a father-son conversation, talking about my sister and her legacy and what I can do to keep her memory alive and her legacy going. And I said, why don't we help out families in the Shore community who are impacted by Superstorm Sandy and help them with Christmas, with the holiday season, with basic needs. So I Facebook, calls, texts, gather up family and friends and said, hey, I need 100 blankets and 50 stuffed animals and whatever else. And through local guidance counselors, local churches, we were able to distribute these things. So that was year 1, and now we're at year 12, and this year we're going to help 200 kids in the foster system and over 80 families in the state of New Jersey.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that all was from year 1, and you continued that for the next 12 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's grown a ton.
And especially considering that we're entering the holiday season, how do you prepare for this season specifically?
It starts in the summertime. So a few years ago, we became a nonprofit, and we did so because with having nonprofit status, it's easier for corporations and businesses to make a donation because of tax implications. So since then, I have a board of directors, including my wife, family, friends, who help shape what we're doing for the entire season. So it starts with a meeting in the summertime where we plan our season. We start sending emails to organizations who we've partnered with over the years saying, hey, we need your list of families back by, this year was October 15th. So we just got the families in.
Wow.
From different organizations, including St. Peter's Hospital, guidance counselors around the state, Greenway Family Success Center in Woodbridge, and as I mentioned, we have contacting the foster system. So it starts with that. It starts with, bi-weekly Zoom meetings, setting up to see, we have storage units in Woodbridge, storage units in Jersey City, storage units in Toms River, and just setting up the logistics of how the year is going to go. So it starts with the intake of families. So it comes from, those 3 or 4 organizations. It comes from guidance counselors around the state. It comes from our website where people fill out an intake form, and if we're able to help them, we do.
And how many families are you usually able to sponsor per year?
It varies year to year. I'd say this year we're at the top of our limit. I think right now, when I was looking this morning, we're at about 81 families and 200 foster kids on the nose. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
But that's like such a large outreach, especially. And I've noticed on your website, you actually have a wish list dedicated for the holiday season as well. What is the wish list all about?
Sure. So that's our main intake of gifts and toys. So what we do is we put multiple Amazon wish lists on our website. And those wish lists include the items that the families in need want.
Right.
So we get them sent to a couple different people on the board's houses, where they're distributed to a storage unit and organized and given out to the family. So on our website, you can donate and help by clicking on one of those wish lists and getting stuff shipped directly from Amazon. And then we have another mechanism on the website which takes monetary donations as well.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So you're able to like use this wish list as another way to kind of reach out to those families as well.
Yep, absolutely. So when we get our intake form from our families in need, there's a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of Excel spreadsheets, and organization of things. Most of the clothing we have volunteers who do shopping for that, but household items, a lot of the toys and books and games and school supplies, we put on the Amazon wish list, just because it is the easiest way to get gifts out to the public where they can purchase it. It can come directly to us, and we're able to distribute to the families in need.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Thanks.
But especially because of how much work that you have to put into the community, and considering that we're still kind of recovering from the effects of the pandemic.
Yeah.
How did the pandemic affect your organization? And how was Jenny's Toys able to support the community during that time?
Sure. So that's twofold. So the pandemic hits, and we have a Rolodex of donors who are willing to help out any time of year. If we have a need from somebody in the hospital who needs medical equipment, I know I could call or text 20 people, and they're, here you go, we'd love to help. So we did the same thing during the pandemic. We saw that there were people in the hospital, first responders, who were really going above and beyond for the community in the early days, and we wanted to help feed them. So we did what we always do. We used social media to help raise money, took that money, helped local restaurants who needed some business stay afloat, and catered meals for nurses in hospitals, for fire departments, for police departments, for other people who were helping out during the pandemic. So we used Jenny's Toys as a way to both help businesses in need and help the people who are putting their lives on the line for us. Right,
to kind of act as that like lifesaver during that portion.
Yeah.
Especially when everything started to slow down.
Absolutely. So, we put a couple restaurants, Ohana Grill in Lavalette. We partnered with them. Another restaurant in Toms River, a couple restaurants in New Brunswick. And yeah, they were, it was twofold. We got to help the restaurants, and we got to, feed the people who were taking care of us during the early pandemic days.
Nice. Yeah. And what has been the feedback that you've gotten from the families and children that you've supported over the years?
It's been wonderful. So, a lot of this comes through intermediaries, so we don't actually see or speak directly to the families, especially the families coming from St. Peter's Hospital in New Brunswick. But we get a ton of feedback. We get, to take the burden of the holiday season or Christmas away from a family who's struggling to make ends meet, it means everything to them.
Right.
So the feedback we've gotten is wonderful. And this is year 12, and every single year, someone who we've helped in the past either donates their time or donates back to Jenny's Toys. So it's amazing to help somebody and then see them get on their feet and become a volunteer, become an annual donor. It's such a wonderful thing.
Right.
Because people are so grateful for the help we give them, and so appreciative. And when they're able to give back, they feel even better, and it makes us feel great as well.
That wonderful give and take to kind of give power to the people in the gifts of giving.
Absolutely.
So who is eligible for this program, and how can they participate?
Sure. So, anybody who's in need, in the state of New Jersey, and we've done beyond when we had to, is eligible. We're getting most of our families through intermediaries, as I said, the Greenway Family Success Center, St. Peter's Hospital in New Brunswick, guidance counselors around the state, a contact I have in the foster system. And then it's through word of mouth. Everyone involved in Jenny's Toys in August puts on social media, if you know a family in need, please contact us. We'd love to help them this holiday season. We have a website, jennystoys.org, JENNISTOYS.org. There's an intake form there, so we've been, people reach out to us on our website, and we're able to help them that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they're able to contact you directly through that website.
Absolutely.
As well. And where do you see you guys going in the future?
It's It's a good question. I'm not sure if we want to continue expanding, or I feel like as of now, we're kind of maxed out on the holiday season. We're taking on 80 plus families, 200 foster kids, and it's a lot of work and organization, and we're a small team of volunteers who do this, and we love doing this. It's everyone's second job for 2 months at nighttime. But probably continuing to do what we do at the holiday time and expanding what we do throughout the year.
Right.
So we this year we started with some back to school needs. Our community partners reached out to us with kids who needed either backpacks or school supplies. We took care of that. We bought some laptops for some kids. We're always helping out with birthdays throughout the year. If somebody needs help with a birthday, and especially our partners at St. Peter's in New Brunswick, we love those kids. They're extra special to us. We've helped out with a lot of medical needs through the year. Last year, someone needed a special medical wheelchair device, and they needed to raise $1,200, and I reached out to them. We got it done in a day. We bought it for them, and that was in like March of April of last year. So I see us maintaining what we're doing at the holiday season and expanding throughout the year to help people in our community when they need help.
Right.
Yeah.
To kind of get yourself more fully integrated into the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And how can our viewers donate or partner with your organization?
Sure. So we do it a couple different ways. So the families we intake, we get people or businesses to adopt the whole family, meaning we have a ton of businesses, especially at the shore, who say, hey, we've got a budget of $1,000 we'd like to donate. And then I give them, okay, this is family A, they have 3 children, this is their wish list, you go out and buy everything. When you're done, give us a call, we'll pick it up and get it to the family.
Right.
So that's a great thing. It takes the burden of organization and getting donations for that family,
right,
which means we could help another family in need. Another way is we utilize our Amazon list on our website. So our website usually has 2 to 3 Amazon lists at the top during the holiday season. You can click on them, you can buy gifts. Our team put the gifts on there based on what our family needs. The gifts get sent to us. We organize them in storage units all throughout the state, and then we distribute them in middle of December.
Right.
Final way to help. We have a button on our website you can click. You can make a monetary donation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And what was the website again?
It's jenniestoys.org. It's JENNISTOYS.org.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce, thank you for being here with us today, and warmest wishes to you this holiday season.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
We'll continue our conversation with Dennis Adesso right after this.
Can't believe you're doing this alone.
I've done it before.
I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up?
Hand me that board.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
I'm good.
I did it when Felicia left.
I'll figure it out.
I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Need a ride? Yeah!
Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Beep, beep. Yeah!
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Need a ride? Yeah!
Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Beep, beep. Yeah!
My name is Samantha Braddock. I'm a history major, and you are watching Ocean TV 20.
Welcome back to Shore Support. I'm Nathan Magno, and with me now is Dennis Adesso, president of Ma Deuce Deuce. Thank you, Dennis, for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
So what is the overall mission of Ma Deuce Deuce?
We basically bribe vets to come hang out with us. We're a group of vets, for vets, and we find that finding outlets to alleviate post-traumatic stress or even just regular stress, you know, we find out what a veteran wants to do, and then we go do it, and we do it for free. You know, we'll go fishing, scuba diving. We got a guy who takes a guy skydiving. We did yoga with former WWE star Diamond Dallas Page. You know,
That's awesome.
We go to the Blue Claws. This year we're taking vets to Jets games. We're calling it VETS, 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 vets. You know, we just find out what a vet wants to do and get them out of the house. Get that camaraderie back in their life that we crave once we get out of the military.
Right. What's the story behind Ma Deuce Deuce exactly?
I'm a Marine veteran. I grew up in Toms River. You know, I actually went here to Ocean County College, and then I went over to Georgian Court after that. But before that, I was in the Marines. I was actually in college first, and I wanted to be a dentist. And my buddy joined the Marine Corps, and he's like, well, have the Marines pay for it. So I ended up becoming a linguist. I signed up to be a Russian linguist. And then once I got to Defense Language Institute, they told me I was going to be an Arabic linguist. I didn't know why I was learning Arabic until about 18 weeks later, 9/11 happened. And they asked who wants to go. I raised my hand. I was there for the invasion. I did a second tour in '04.
Right.
A lot of collateral damage, a lot of experiences that I always say lined the back of my eyelids when I closed my eyes at night, and it made me go into a downward spiral.
Right.
And I married my high school sweetheart in 2005, shortly before I got out of the Marine Corps. And from there, everything just started to fail. You know, I was drinking a lot. I was just not able to make that transition from Marine back to being civilian Dennis.
Right.
And I ended up going to work in Iraq for a few years just to get that high stress environment, making a lot of money, thinking that's what a man had to do to make his wife happy, and just downward spiral. Right around 2016, I went on vacation with my family, and my brother-in-law and I put away too many, and we got into a little altercation, just verbal, but I ended up leaving my family, going home, and the next day I took a handful of Xanax and washed it down with some Jack Daniels and thought I was on my way out. And the next day I woke up with like 70-something missed calls from my wife wondering where I was, and told her what I did, and you know, I told her I wanted a divorce. I was done with her. I'm done with her family.
Right.
And I was supposed to go to this organization a couple of weeks from now. She said, listen, you go through this thing and you still want it afterwards, fine, you can have a divorce and go back to Iraq like you want. And I went through and my life was changed. You know, I found my faith again. It was a faith-based organization, found my faith, and it was just a remarkable experience that we came home, and my brother-in-law, who I actually got in that altercation with, he went as well, and we both basically said, why didn't we know about this 10 years ago? You know, why did it take us 10 years of drinking and drugs and, you know, self-medication and rage and everything? So we started Ma Deuce Deuce. The name's derived from the 50 caliber machine gun. The Marines and the Army, we call it the M2 or the Ma Deuce. And then we incorporate that with the scariest number in America today, which is 22.
Right.
The amount of veterans who try and take their lives a day, or who successfully take their lives a day.
Right. But Ma Deuce Deuce is a place of brotherhood, a place to give Marines a community.
It's camaraderie. When we get out of the Marine Corps, or when I got out of the Marine Corps, I wasn't around friends that got me anymore. You know, when I was in the Marine Corps, I could walk out my barracks, turn left or right 10 feet, and say something. I'm upset, man, or I'm scared. I can't sleep, man. And my brother got me.
Right.
I got out of the Marine Corps, and I'd go tell that to one of my friends, and they'd just be like, man, you got to man up. You know, you got to fine. But that was the worst advice I ever got. So we're just basically a group of guys and girls that experience that camaraderie again, and I think that's the most therapeutic experiences anyway. You know, a beer, a fire, and a couple of bros around it, you know, that's an awesome experience.
Right. And especially because it's all in this effort to combat America's scariest number, 22. So what type of support do you offer to those suffering from PTSD so they don't become another statistic?
Well, one, like, you know, our main shtick is the camaraderie. You know, hey, you want to go to a baseball game? You want to go to the, you know, go to the a football game. Let's go scuba diving. Let's go find, even if it's just, let's go out for a beer. You know, like, we're not heavy drinkers, but we understand some people are, you know. And, you know, I learned in church that, you know, Jesus went into the trenches. You know, he hung around with prostitutes and drunks and thieves, you know. Where else are we going to be able to find these vets that really need this help? So, you know, we'll go have a beer with a couple guys and find out how we can help, you know. And I always find that if I don't know all their experiences, if I have enough of my other bros around me, I can fulfill A through D, and go on and so on and so forth. By the end of the night, we have this guy's whole story down packed, and be like, all right, this is what you need to do.
Right. And what other additional services does Ma Deuce Deuce provide in terms of, like, maybe also financial or
Yeah, we have
housing
unmet
insecurity?
needs. A lot of times a vet will come up to us and be like, hey man, I'm stressing out. I got to pay my phone bill or my water bill, or can I get some help with rent? We help with homelessness. You know, we're not a homelessness organization. I usually send for permanent housing. We'll send it to other organizations that we work with, but I might be able to get a veteran in a hotel for 3 or 4 days while they're working with the larger organizations to get them placed into a house.
Right. And especially because as we start to approach that holiday of giving, it must be a very busy season for you.
This is it's a very busy season for us, and it's a very traumatic season for vets. You know, a lot of these vets sit there and they think, how am I going to get through Christmas? You know,
Right.
And that's another area of support that we have. We have what we call Audrey's Toy Chest. It's basically our version of Toys for Tots.
Right.
It was stemmed from our treasurer, Audrey Kobliska. She's a Marine. She used to work in the VA, and she was doing her own little thing with you know, a small version of it. And then we caught wind of it, and we teamed up. And from there, it just became to be even bigger. You know, even with our own toy chest, it started off with one of my Marine buddies.
Right.
And you know, he said he was going to go to rehab after Christmas, and I'm like, you're not going to be alive after Christmas. So I made a promise to him that I'll take you to rehab right now, detox. I'll make sure your daughter has presents. And we showed up, you know, and from there it went from one family to 2 families, and this past Christmas we did 132 kids.
Right. But that promise extended to a whole community of brothers and sisters.
Through a community that's super generous, you know. It's funny. I always say they open up their hearts and their wallets for us. You know, they trust our mission, and they trust me, and you know, they know that if we're asking for funds for this or that, they know it's going to the cause. You know, no one on my board collects a paycheck. This is all volunteer. So like when we say, when you give us $100, $100 is going into the program. It's not lining our pockets.
Right. What is the process with Audrey's Toy Chest in terms of like collection and like distribution of gifts?
So we do get a lot of submissions just from people hearing about it, and if we can help, we do. If not, there's other organizations out there that we do ask, hey, we got this vet up in Monmouth County or Passaic County or whatever, and we will all work together. It's mainly stemming from these veterans who are in these groups at the VA center, you know, big circle. We get it from those groups. So their kids create a Christmas list, they get it to Audrey, and then we put it in a wish list on Amazon, and we share that link, and then our community buys those presents for these kids. And then it culminates at Farrow's Tees in Toms River. We have the Jersey Shore Santa come, they take free pictures, and then these veterans are leaving with these huge boxes of toys that their kids actually wanted, and it's just every year we do that, I like to go home and put my head on that pillow and just be like, that was awesome.
That's amazing, man. And so who's like eligible to like participate in Audrey's Toy Chest? And how do families apply for this program?
They normally just contact us. You know, you can go to ma22.org. You can email info@ma22.org, or hit us up on Facebook or Instagram. You just spell out Ma Deuce Deuce. And that's normally how it is. Hey, I got a family, you know, a 9-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. Can you guys help? And like I said, we may not always be able to get them as much, but we're gonna get them something.
Right.
You know, like, you know, we always say you can't save them all, but we can save. All of us can save one. So if we get a couple of presents for as many kids as we can, you know, we did our thing. You know, at least we got half of their Christmas list done, or sometimes you might just get one of the biggest items. Like I had one year, some guy donated us like 3 Nintendo Switches.
Really?
Like big items. And when he got them to those kids, you know, even the parents were crying. They're like, how? And I'm like, we're just, we're the conduit to a blessing. You know, if we can't spend our own money to do it, we're going to spend someone else's to make the mission accomplished.
Right. But all those blessings and generosity to help you get that mission accomplished, especially.
Yeah.
So what upcoming events do you have planned for the holiday season?
Operation Rocket, which is coming up November 10th. It's actually on the Marine Corps birthday. Being that most of my board is Marines, we like to celebrate the birthday more than any other branch. But Rocket is usually a 22-kilometer ruck march. We were 22 pounds. And the year before COVID, we had almost 500 people walking with us. We raised over $65,000. This year it's a little smaller, 2.2 miles, and then we're going to have a birthday celebration in downtown Toms River. Right after that is Audrey's Toy Chest. That's when we start collecting toys and just start. We hand out boxes at vendor. We get them at Amendment 21 or Super Buy Right. Those big boxes, and people just put toys in them, and then we'll go collect them, sort all the toys, and culminate at our big event December 9th at Pharaoh's Tees. You can watch our social media for all those details, and anyone can show up.
Right. And how can people participate in this year's Audrey's Toy Chest?
So there's a wish list on our social media already, but if they have any questions, it's very easy, info@ma22.org. I myself or Audrey or somebody will contact them and say, hey, this is how you can help. We always need volunteers to help sort toys or go pick up boxes or bring toys to families that don't have cars maybe. So we're always looking for volunteers. We say if you can't open up your heart or open up your wallet, open up your time, open up your schedule for us.
Right. And how can viewers partner with or donate to your organization?
If they go to ma22.org/donate, there's a couple prompts there. We can accept Venmo donations, PayPal. You can mail a check. You can use a credit card through our Stripe app. No dollar amount is too small. If 1,000 people donate $5, it's more money than someone wish. Oh, well, I only have $5 to donate. Well, go find 100 people to help you do it.
Right. But especially because you have all these wonderful outlets, is there anywhere else where our viewers can find more information about your organization?
Just go drive around town and you'll see one of our logos on the back of the windows. We call it You've Been Deuced. Someone will take a picture of it and we put it on our social media. But it's mainly ma22.org for websites, and then spell out Ma Deuce Deuce on social media.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dennis, for your time. And may your holiday be full of warmth and cheer.
Thank you, you too. God bless.
We would also like to thank both of our guests and the cheer that they bring to our community. Folks, whatever is joyous, jolly, or uplifts your heart, we encourage you to take up that opportunity to share it to whomever you may meet, just like how these organizations have brought joy and blessings to our community. For Shore Support, I'm Nathan Magno, wishing you a wonderful holiday.